Yo Michael here, the Car Pandit TV. So in this episode is gusto lang i-share tong yung isang power tool namin especially for training purposes. Ito yung ginagamit namin mga kapandit na pang training So ngayon ipabagi ko sa inyo is itong isang simulator ng clutch component kung paano siya gumagana sa ating sasakyan. Okay? So yan mga kapandit, kung hindi pa kayo nakasubscribe, pa-subscribe naman mga kapatid, patulong naman, and pakihit na rin yung notification bell para ma-notify kayo sa mga future uploads pa natin, and paki-like na lang and share kung nagustuhan niyo itong content natin. Okay, so stay tuned mga kapatid. So yun nga mga kapatid, before ko i-demonstrate sa inyo kung paano gumagana tong clutch component natin, I would like to review muna kayo lahat, what is the purpose or function of a clutch in our car, or in our vehicle. So paki-post na lang mga kapatid kung hindi niyo makuha yung ilalagay ko lang yung caption or functions ng diyan ng ating clutch. So one of the function of a clutch is, number one, is to disconnect the engine from the transmission or transaxle. So siya yung nagpapa-disconnect. So halimbawa na lang mga kapandit, this part is our connection from the engine. So let us say this is the flywheel, this is the clutch component. Clutch assembly is, alam naman natin, yung galing sa clutch assembly is papunta to input shaft to the transmission. Okay, so this will disconnect and connect our transmission or powertrain from our engine. Okay, so as I've said, dito yung engine mga kapandit. Okay, and number two, to permit the engine from running. So to permit the engine from running when the vehicle is stopped. So even naka-stop na yung car natin or yung mga sasakyan natin or vehicle. So this will allow, so the clutch will also allow the engine from running. Okay, kasi connected lang yan ang engine sa ating pressure plate. So patuloy pa rin siyang umiikot, so without permitting the flow of torque to our transmission. So still nagra-run pa rin yung engine natin without any load. And then number three, to permit the transmission or transaxle to be shifted. So when it is disconnected, so when this one is disconnected, our clutch disc is disconnected, or our clutch assembly or disconnected, so pwede na tayong maka-allow ng gear shifting ng ating transmission. Okay, so pwede ka maka-shift per speed, second, third, fourth, fifth, or even reverse. Okay, so again, to permit the transmission or transaxle to be shifted, that is number three. And then pang-apat is to connect and transmit engine torque to the transmission or transaxle. So when it is connected, so yung power flow galing sa makina papuntang flywheel, papuntang input clutch disc, i-absorb ng clutch disc yung flow ng torque ng ating flywheel galing sa makina. So magda-transfer yung torque papunta dun sa input shaft. So makikita nito, yan mga kapandit, yan ito. That is the input shaft. So papuntang na yun sa transmission. Okay? Now, pang-apat, the fourth one is to dampen and absorb engine impulses and drivetrain vibration. So lahat po ng mga power stroke ng makina is na-absorb ng flywheel and the clutch components or assembly. And lastly po mga kapandit, one of the function of the clutch is to provide a smooth engagement and disengagement between the engine and the transmission or transaxle. So as you can see mga kapandit, so yung air gap na yan lang po yung nagpapa-disconnect ng ating engine and ating transmission. So yan, if you can imagine how precise it is, how precise yung timing ng disconnection or disengagement ng ating clutch or ating engine to our transmission. So Yan mga kapandit. So with this ano mga kapandit, with this powerful na training simulator na maliit siya, no? Makita nyo maliit siya. But this can be able to aid students from understanding well uh, the clutch component operation. So particularly this clutch assembly. So from starting from the, let's say from our release fork, release bearing to our clutch component. So yan ibabahagi ko yan sa inyo, yung operation din ito. So stay tuned lang mga kapandit. So yun nga mga kapandit, no. So as we all know that clutch mechanism can be operated by mechanical, hydraulic or pneumatic. So but here di mo natin pakita yung hydraulic. So as you can see only is a clutch pedal. So simulating the clutch pedal, simulating the clutch fork to be pressured, so for our release bearing. So from here, so let us assume that is a clutch pedal going to our hydraulic, mechanical or pneumatic. So one of the purpose lang naman ng mechanism is to provide a force for our release fork or clutch fork. Okay, so by the way, clutch, unahin na muna natin to, no. So itong clutch fork pala is one of the function is to connect the slave cylinder to the clutch release bearing, commonly called the throwout bearing. So ito yung it connects the slave cylinder, so from the clutch mechanism, hydraulic let us say. So ito na yung ipoporsa ng ating slave cylinder or the secondary clutch cylinder from our clutch mechanism, okay, or particularly hydraulic let us say. So this is commonly called the throwout bearing, itong kinokonektahan ng clutch fork mga kapandit. So ito ng clutch fork, then ito yung throwout bearing or release bearing. Ang release bearing naman is connected to the end of the fork inside the transmission bell housing. So ito yung release bearing. So it rests on the tranny, input shaft and clutch unit. So when the fork swings, okay, pag itong fork nagsiswing, the bearing applies pressure to the clutch, okay, to the clutch and give the force necessary for disengagement. So ito na po yung itong release bearing na po yung nagpe-pressure ng ating clutch. Okay, so maano niya yung, if you can observe here mga kapandit, let's i-ano lang muna natin. So if you can observe here mga kapandit, nakikita niyo yung release bearing, naka puwersa niya tong diaphragm spring, or sometimes it is called as diaphragm finger. So this is very necessary, itong release bearing, na mapuwersa niya, mapush na yung diaphragm spring or finger. Okay, so and this one also, these all are the clutch cover or unit assembly which is fitted to the flywheel. So you can observe ang pressure plate natin is fitted to our flywheel. Let us say this is flywheel. So ito namang clutch disc, ito yung nagpapahiwalay, nagpapa-disengage or disconnect ng ating engine to our transmission. So with the use of the input shaft, okay? So once naiikot itong friction disc, so as our input shaft, kasi naka-spline yung friction disc. Okay, naka-spline yung friction disc sa ating input shaft. Okay? So yan mga kapandit. Now mga kapandit, pakita ko lang sa inyo ito yung input shaft. Okay? Ganyan yan siya mga kapandit. So ito yung input shaft. Naka-spline yan is the friction disc. Ito siya. So naka-spline yan. So once na iikot tong friction disc, itong input shaft naman, ita-transfer niya yung torque papunta doon sa transmission. Ito na yung papunta sa transmission. So ganun yung ganun nung operation or ang pag-transfer or power flow ng ating clutch to our transmission. Now, ito naman sa operation. So, when clutch is disengaged. So, paano ba ma-disengage yung clutch? So, starting when the clutch is in the release position. So, meaning to say, on the release position, this clutch pedal is being depressed by the driver. So, pupuwersa yung hydraulic mechanism papunta dun sa ating clutch fork. Okay? Then to our release bearing. If we can observe, no, mga kapanit, so that's why this one, as I've said, is a very powerful tool para sa training kasi makikita ng mga estudyante kung paano mapapry yung yung release bearing tsaka yung yung diaphragm spring, paano siya itong lever na to, paano ma-pry niya yung yung smooth surface or pressure plate natin. So if you can observe, gumagalaw mga kapandit. So pag ma-pry ito ng ng release bearing, itong lever natin or diaphragm spring or finger, so as our pressure plate, okay, this smooth surface of the pressure plate will be forced to move up, and then so as disconnecting our friction disc. Ito mga kapandit, makita niyo. So that's why gusto kong ma-share to para makita ng mga estudyante. Okay? So when the clutch is in the release position or clutch pedal depressed, by the way, the clutch fork is applying a force to the throughout or release bearing. Okay? So which pushes the diaphragm. Okay? We can observe. So ililipat natin natin. So which pushes the diaphragm spring, releasing the pressure on the friction disc. Okay, the engine can be operated without transferring torque to the transmission. So if you can observe kanina, so let us say umiikot ng engine, so naka-engage yung friction disc natin. So this time iikot din yung magta-transfer din yung power papunta dun sa transmission. So if you can observe. So but when the driver, okay, so when the driver presses the clutch pedal, so if you can observe mga kapandit, okay, so disconnect yung clutch disc, iikot lang yung makina, engine flywheel, and our pressure plate only. Okay, so no power flow that is going to our transmission or at our input shaft. Now when the driver is disengaged naman, when the clutch is in the engaged position or clutch pedal up, so this one is engaged, so the pressure on the throat bearing is released. Okay, so release na siya mga kapandit, and the force against the pressure plate spring, okay, itong spring, okay, the diaphragm spring exerts force on the clutch disc, okay, holding or clamping it between the flywheel and the pressure plate. So the engine can be operated transferring torque to our transmission or transaxle. So now kasi engaged na siya, so our pressure plate is pushing our clutch disc, okay, clamping it or holding it. So that's why our clutch disc can now be able to transfer torque to our transmission. Okay, so if we can notice mga kapandit, ang ganda lang. So kaya naisipan kong i-release ibagi sa inyo kasi makikita talaga ng estudyante yung niya. Okay, so disengage. So yan so yan mga kapandit. So I hope nagustuhan niyo itong content na to, and pag hindi pa kayo nakasubscribe, pa-support lang mga kapandit, subscribe my channel and paki-hit na rin notification bell para lagi kayong updated sa future uploads natin. Then paki-like na rin and share and kung nagustuhan niyo. Okay, so yun muna, dito muna natin tatapusin mga kapandit tong So marami pa po tayong mga simulator, marami pa kaming simulator na pwede kayong i-share sa inyo mga kapandit. So ayan, so dito ko muna tatapusin, and maraming salamat. So ciao mga kapanit, God bless, and stay safe and have a good day ahead. Okay, thank you.